It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
All right, Hysterics has a question. He says, should I divert my monthly savings for a house, new car, etc., to boost my Roth contributions temporarily in order to take advantage of the lower market that's happening right now? He says, I'm set to max out my Roth currently.
Should I divert my monthly savings for house or new car in order to max out my Roth?
Yes.
Okay.
So, look, I bring this back because I really, fortunately, and I hate to keep bringing it up because I don't have enough details to make it worthwhile because this came out on Twitter, but I really did a deep dive on this when I was writing the book. Well, I was about to give the title. No, let's not do that. I'm so bad at keeping secrets. So horrible at keeping secrets. But it is one of those things where I think Roth money, we love Roth money. But realize there's a reason Roth contributions, that is step 5 of the financial order of operations. That's not step 1. That's not step 2. It's step 5 of the financial order of operations. You got to get through step 1, which is deductibles covered. You even got to get through step 4, which is make sure you have emergency reserves, which is 3 to 6 months. And you had some key points there. You got buying a car, buying a house. When I talk about, realize that first house, when you're in your 20s or early 30s and you're trying to buy that first house, we give you the grace of saying, look, you don't have to put down 20%. You can put down 3%. Mm-hmm. So that is going to more than likely be something that you prioritize. A portion of even that step 4, which is the emergency reserves, is going to be built kind of into that. Where I'm thinking about when you're talking about Roth IRA money is that is, have you paid attention to all the other steps? And yes, I want you to take advantage of the valuations, the opportunities we have right now, but everybody has to kind of individualize this. I picked on retirees earlier because they have a lot of variables, but I think young people do too, is like, how good is your current used car? Is this more of a preference because you just don't like? I mean, I drove around a raggedy Cavalier that was very reliable, but the paint was chipping off and it had some dents in it. So if I was facing this situation right now, if I was in yours, I'd probably drive it for another 2 years just to see if we could get some equilibrium in car prices and figure out where that is. Housing is kind of the same way. What's going on in your marketplace? I mean, we live in the Nashville area where there's a lot of migration into this area, so I don't think houses are going to get beat up. But if we were still in South Atlanta, where I think that those housing prices are going to be much more susceptible to where we are in the economic cycle, I'd probably hang in on that too. So you have to take an inventory of what are you facing individually on need and health of your car, as well as what's going on in the market around you.
Yeah, if you divert those monthly savings to Roth, what are you going to do when you need the new car? Or, how pressing is the new house? When my wife and I, when we found out we were pregnant with our first child, we had sold our house in Atlanta. We were living in an apartment here in Tennessee, and we were like doing the thing, like young couple, no kids, living in the apartment, going to movies on Tuesdays. And then, she said, hey, Bo, we're having a baby. And I was like, okay, cool. You want to go to a movie? And she's like, no, I want you to start saving some money. So we're going to buy a house. Like, that's like priority number 1. And so we had to make some like savings decisions where getting into a house mattered. Or, I have friends who've been in that place where like their car isn't on like its last leg, it's on like the leg after that. And they just know that they are, Nate, one moment away from something going wrong. Well, you can't just bury your head in the sand and pretend like something's not going to happen. You need to make sure you're making wise, prudent decisions because you don't know when that car is going to crap out. So if you need to be saving for a car, by all means, save for the car. Now, if you have an emergency fund and if you've been doing things, you've got some slack in the system, yeah, man, it's great to get those dollars working for you. But what you don't want to do is take those dollars that you need, put them into some investments right now, and maybe this is the beginning of the downturn. Maybe this is the first 20% of a 40% drop. And then what happens is when it's down 40, then you need the new car. And all of a sudden that money that you thought you were going to have there available, 1, it's locked up in a Roth, and 2, it's down. I would just make sure you got to live life. Saving and investing and building for the future is providing for your future self. And that's wildly, massively important. But you can't do that to the absolute neglect of your present day self. So you have to prioritize what are the things that I need and have to have that I know are going to take place. And I need to be saving for those things in a responsible manner even if it means foregoing some potentially exciting opportunities right now.
What you just described, and I was sitting here thinking about it, is you essentially triage your financial life. You know, just like you go to the emergency room, they're going to try to figure out, is this person that can sit out here for 2 or 3 hours and before they get their broken arm set, or is this somebody we need to get them back behind the doors here, the doctor get to them ASAP? What you just described is triage your financial life, and the fact that if you have a car that questions whether you're going to get to work to pay for to actually keep your job, that's a problem you got to prioritize. If and I think that those are things, I love that you put it in those contexts, because it does. There's even been points, I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't share. There's points in my life where I've had to deviate from some of these things, but I did it in a way that I was petrified, scared that, okay, I'm going to do this so I can start a company. I'm going to do this so I can make a down payment on this house or buy this car, just because my life right now requires it. Now, be honest with yourself. I don't want those big eyes where you're saying, I need to do this so I can go buy that Tesla, or I need to do this so I can go buy something nice. Don't be honest with yourself, because we do have a friend that he needed another car. So it was at that point. But when you deviate from that plan, be scared through the process, because the quicker you get back on course, the better your financial life will be. But we all have to, this is life. And the good news is success doesn't require perfection. You know, and I could tell you, as a matter of fact, I have shared on all my shows, I have made so many mistakes in my financial life and still have reached a level of what I consider success. You too can have that. You don't have to have perfection to do this well.